You know, it's interesting, during the springtime we see an awful lot of dandelions, and it's crazy when you start to kind of consider this. You always hear that dandelions are a weed. We've heard that for the longest time, especially like if you are ever at a garden supply store or whatever. And it's really, you know, during the springtime we see an awful lot of dandelions out in the yard and out in the grasses and everything else when we're passing by and jogging and whatnot. And it's really interesting how they have been demonized so heavily. I mean, think about this. This is one of the first things that they ever talk about whenever they talk about weed killers is dandelions. And what's really curious about this is the fact that you can actually use the entire dandelion, the flower, the stem, the root, everything for medicine and medical purposes. So it helps with things like liver functioning, kidney functioning, gut health, inflammation within the body. You can actually make tea and wine in it. So the big question is, why do these companies consistently demonize dandelions? Well, turns out that a lot of the manufacturers for a lot of the weed killers are actually the same manufacturers that basically produce your pharmaceuticals. So we already know that pharmaceuticals is a huge business, and we live in a system where things are patented. So if it's found in nature, like dandelions, or like blueberries, cinnamon, or honey, you cannot make billions off of it. So it's in their best interest to demonize plants that they cannot make billions off of, and not to mention eradicate them, not just simply demonizing them, but eradicating them, that basically getting them off of the cutting board, so to speak. So the companies that actually manufacture a lot of the weed killers are things like Bayer and Monsanto. So for instance, Monsanto is responsible for things like DDT in the 1950s, Agent Orange in the 1960s. How many people has that actually affected, by the way? It's gotten into your DNA, etc. Aspartame, which is a chemical component which is referred to as a biological weapon. And then you have the weed killer Roundup that's been banned in 36 countries. And it's been linked to breast cancer, infant mortality rate, and even death. So you have to look at all the companies and how they actually are intertwined and how they're actually affecting our health and everything else. And so this is one of the big things, kind of like a big divide between like a lot of people here in the North American continent. A lot of them do not want to hear that these biotech companies have been playing basically, you know, judge, jury, and executioner about who they allow to die based upon their products and based upon their profit margins. So, but it goes a lot further than that. You got to look at things like Agenda 20, Agenda 30, which is something that a lot of people have actually known about for many years. And so basically the fighting back is basically creating our own products and being able to understand and educate others about what's going on, about the fact that all these things have been patented and other things that have been found in nature have been demonized. And this is everything from, you know, frequency energy healing to medicinal medicines to whatever you could think of, to Tai Chi and yoga. Ask yourself, why is it the insurance companies will not touch things like Tai Chi, yoga, or even acupuncture